Well, good morning. I am back from vacation. It is Monday morning and I'm down by McGrath taking a look at my big monster pea field, which is now shrunk down to the height of my waist. You can see there is still a couple of green spots out in the field, but it's probably less than 10% of the field. About 90% of the field is either slightly lime green or completely dead ripe, such as this. So this is pretty much perfect timing for a desiccant such as Reglone Ion or any of the other diquats. And I would definitely recommend this get sprayed probably in the evening. That way it has time to sit and absorb throughout the night without just prematurely drying on the leaf, and will take effect first thing in the morning. And then we'll get a really quick burn down on this, and we'll be combining this probably, within a week or so. Sweeping some canola down by McGrath, and it's safe to say the Lygus numbers have substantially come up in the last week. We are well and truly over threshold here now. All those little nymphs have matured up to, fourth and fifth instars and adults. And there is quite a few of them here. So I would definitely recommend this field be sprayed right away. I'm wearing shorts while I walk into this field, and it's getting a bit sticky in here. So that is definitely a sign. And when you check the main stem in this field, it is still dead green basically. There's no color change yet on these bottom pods. Looks like some of them are just on the verge of some mottled color, but that means that it's still green enough that we really need to spray this. All back in the Nobleford area here, and a lot of the wheat is really starting to come along. We're just reaching swath timing on a lot of the wheat if you care to do so rather than straight cut. A lot of these heads here looking at physiological maturity. However, the moisture is still high enough I can still dent them with my nails, so nowhere near close to being dry enough to combine yet. And there is still quite a few green heads. A lot of these tillers down here are still quite green and soft in that soft dough stage, so have to wait a little while longer here yet. Here's that Durham field that had the really bad leaf disease problems in here, and as you can see, it's ripening up in a real hurry in this weather. Just get blasted by the heat. And see if I can pull out some seeds here. So there you can see the kernels there, and you can see they are anything but plump. They are pretty shriveled up. So that is the bad part of leaf disease. If it causes the crop to ripen prematurely, you end up with shriveled light kernels. And here's the Durham field that did get sprayed with a fungicide, and you can see it is actually quite a lot greener, especially in some places. Some of these heads are starting to dry down here, and when we check the kernels in these, you can see, well, obviously they've got a lot more moisture in them. They're still a bit soft, but you can see they're nice and plump in comparison. Here's a field of rye that is currently getting combined right now. So the rye is nice and dry and in the proper zone for harvest, and everything's looking good, yielding over 100 bushels to the acre. And here you can see the combine has already gone over. This particular combine is outfitted with a stripper header, so it is just taking everything off of the heads and leaving all the straw standing, which is nice because that straw will really help with preserving moisture and catching snow this winter, hopefully leading to better yields in this field next year for whatever crop it goes into. Here's some examples of grasshoppers feeding on pods. You can see they've stripped some of the outer tissue off these pods, which of course, helps the pods dry down quicker and shell out faster. So more than likely these pods will probably not make it to the combine. Along the edge of this field here, you can see quite a lot of damage on these very edge plants because right next to it is some pasture land. So as that dries up and burns off, those grasshoppers are moving across the fence, hitting the edge of this field. Well, lots of the peas have been combined this week. There's still some standing here and there. This was a green spot that got left in the field, and it'll probably need another week to cure out yet. You can still see there's some lime green in there, but the rest of these here are pretty good. So I'm hearing yields in the 50s, 60s, 70s for the most part. So for dryland peas, that's pretty good. Certainly a lot better than the 20 bushel yields we've had the last few years in the drought. Well, Nobleford area corn, it looks like it is developing well. We should be coming into blister stage for the most part here now. So this is a nice long looking ear here. Don't say Cobb or Nikki will get mad. So yeah, looks like we are indeed in blister stage here. This is just starting to fill, so over the next couple of weeks this is going to get much plumper and grow rapidly. As long as we can keep the water on it. We're currently 37 degrees here, and don't see any stress in this particular patch here, but I've seen a few plants with rolled up leaves, and that's usually, you know, heat and moisture stress will cause that. Here in this dryland corner you can really see the heat stress. 37 degrees will do that. This corn, these leaves are just rolled right up, showing their more silvery underside, and everything feels quite limp. The turgor pressure is quite low because they don't have enough water. Well, here's a dryland field of Cantera 2100, and as you can see it is turned fairly good. So when we look at these plants here, we'll find the main stem. Looks like bottom pods are very dry here. Good color change there. Some nice mottling up here a little bit, but we are turned pretty much all the way to the top. So this does have a Harvest Max trait. It is straight cut tolerant, but we're going to swath this to bring harvest on a little bit faster. And these side branches should have good color change as well, which they do. So we're going to go ahead and get this swathed here right away, and then hopefully in about 10 days we'll be able to combine it. Here you go, Steve, spraying the last pass of fungicide on the potatoes. These will probably start to get harvested in the next 2 weeks. Well, here's a field of canola by the west side of Lethbridge, and as you can see, it is pretty much perfect timing for desiccation using Reglone Ion or another diquat product. So you can see some of those low green spots are still a little bit lime green, and these plants are looking pretty good. So looking at the main stem of this guy, you can see these bottom pods, pretty hard black seed, moving up we're leathery and black. Brown at the top. No, not much mottling, but it is a lighter brown. Check some of these side branches here, and we're kind of mottled brown, solid brown. Little bit of more mottled green at the top, but overall pretty much perfect timing. So for this field I'd recommend 0.83 liters of Reglone Ion plus interlock surfactant at 100 acres to the jug, and you'll be in this field about 7 days faster than you would if you did nothing. Well, it's definitely fire season out there. I'm currently just east of Claire's home, and somebody has started a pretty good fire out here. Looked to have been combine fire that has now spread into the field. A rural firefighting force is out there. There's also a helicopter, but lots of water trucks headed out that way, so I'm sure it'll be under control here pretty quick, I hope. It's starting to get windy. Well, Wednesday morning now by Colhurst, and the oats are looking really good. We're coming up on the flag leaf timing now. We're not quite in boot here, but things are looking very good. We do have some aphids in here. They're just starting to show up. That's pretty common on these late seeded oats. You almost always have aphids and a bit of septoria, but other than that, so far things looking pretty good. A few torched leaf tips just from how hot and dry we've been. 36 degrees Celsius wind does not help with plant development as far as leaf tips go. Well, here's a malt barley field that has a wild oat problem. This was a new field for this particular farmer, and the wild oat pressure was quite substantially higher than what we had expected. We did spray axial in here twice, but I am now taking a sample of wild oats to send off for analysis for resistance. So you always want to try to make sure you're picking physiologically mature wild oats, so they should be turned in color but haven't dropped off the plant yet. If they're grass green like some of these are, then those you should leave behind because they'll likely mold in the bag before they have a chance to be analyzed. Well, the corn by Lethbridge is developing really well. We got some pretty good sized ears developing in here, and we're in the milk stage. So when you squeeze these guys out, they do still have quite a lot of liquid in them, but they are starting to develop some starches. So that's nice to see, and they'll just keep building up more starches as the weeks go by. Well, it's Friday now, and I'm back at one of the canola fields I looked at on Monday, and you can see a lot of the green has gone out of this one now. You can see a little bit there, a little bit over there. So really it just needs a couple more days to lose some more of those greens, and it'll be ready for a Reglone Ion application. So in this case, I'm going to recommend this field get sprayed on Monday. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.